What is up, guys? I'm Celeste Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, social well-being. Today, guys, I'm going to be answering your questions from the Q&A that I posted on Instagram. Now, about that, some of y'all suck at following directions because I clearly stated that if you want to participate in the Q&A, for you guys to like go on Instagram, follow the directions that I put. And on my story, I put it that, hey, I just put this post, go to the post, leave your question on the post. And the vast majority of you sent your questions via direct message to the story instead of on the post, which makes it hard to go through all that and organize it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through all the questions on the post first, and I appreciate y'all who actually follow directions. And if there's time, I'll try to get through some of the questions that were directly sent to me. But if I don't, well, you learned your lesson, follow directions. Anyway, let's get to this Q&A. All right, question number one. How long do your training sessions usually last? What made you want to get into powerlifting? So how long my training sessions last kind of depends on the day. My higher intensity days, where I tend to be taking a little bit more rest, tend to probably, honestly, like at the shortest, if it's just like a nice short day and I'm by myself, not waiting on equipment or training with somebody else, maybe like an hour and a half. But on average, I'd say my training sessions are probably about a couple of hours on average. And as for what got me into powerlifting, pretty much I've always been into general strength training. Like before I got into powerlifting, I wanted to get strong at everything. I didn't care if it was machine, barbell, dumbbells. I didn't care what the rep range was. I just wanted to gradually see the weight increasing on the bar, whether I'm doing sets of 10, sets of 5, sets of 3, whatever. But pretty much it started when I was still at UNT, a college student. And the weight room that I worked at the rec center or whatever, they would have like bench press competitions. So I would like get involved in those. I had a pretty good bench even then. Like, I was benching the 300s, weighing like in the 150s or whatever. And from that's when like the UNT powerlifting team kind of discovered me and came across me and pretty much asked me if I was interested in joining. And you know, one thing led to another, checked it out, did my first meet like a couple meets after checking it out, and just fell in love with it. So yeah. Next question, you said you've been training for about 7 years. During what period of training was most of your foundation built with strength and muscular gains, or has it been built gradually? Also, what went into that training, nutrition, or accumulation of things? So basically, like, I mean, both, I guess. Like, as you're getting stronger, you're gonna put on muscle mass, and as you're putting on muscle mass, you're gonna get stronger, assuming that you're training correctly. So for me, like I said, when I first started, a lot of my trainings, like, you know, like just full body routines, getting strong, the big compound lifts, trying to get strong in my accessory work as well. Like I said, like I always tell people, I used to treat curls like a compound movement, or my ab work like compound movements. Like, even if I was doing higher reps, I was trying to get stronger on it gradually and gradually. So, you know, obviously, you know, I built a good base of strength and muscle mass. Probably, I think what you're asking, I'll probably say a lot of it came more from focusing on strength, and the muscle mass was kind of just a byproduct of that. Because as far as nutrition, like, even though I was keeping my protein on point, I wasn't like tracking my total caloric intake. I probably could have been eating way more to build more overall size during those initial years. But yeah, that's kind of like my base. As far as what went into it, like I said, before I got into weight training, I did calisthenics for a few years before that. Then I got into weight training. It was more like, you know, full body training, full body routines. And then over time, as I learned more, I started getting more focused on my nutrition as far as like my calories, my macros, everything like that. Next question, how many muscle ups can you do? I haven't done muscle ups in like a couple of years, but last time I did it was like the second time I'd ever done it, and I got 10. Next question, what is the most ridiculous thing you ever did fitness-wise? Some weird bro exercise, weight loss regimen? I can be completely honest and say I've never really done anything like just crazy or stupid, like just random like that. I guess the dumbest thing is, like, so when I was doing full body routines, I got to a point where I kept discovering new movements and new exercises. Instead of kind of cycling through them or periodizing things, I just kept adding movements. So I'm over here doing like bench press, weighted dips, chest press, incline dumbbell press, like just doing like a crap load of movements for my chest, and like every variation of row there is, and then like squats, leg press, leg curls, like whatever I could get my hands on, I was just adding movements in. I got to a point where I really like wasn't progressing on a lot of those because I was just doing so much where I couldn't adequately recover. That's probably the dumbest thing I've ever done, but nothing extreme as far as like an extreme weight loss diet or like some crazy bro exercise that's not beneficial. I've never done anything like that. Next question, favorite Dragon Ball Z character and why? Gohan, Teen Gohan specifically, will always be the GOAT of Dragon Ball Z. It's always kind of been like a close tie between him and Vegeta, just because I love how Vegeta, like, he never quits. He's always trying to get stronger, even though he knows I think even though like there's no fourth wall break, I think he knows he's a secondary character. He knows Goku's always gonna one him up, but he's always pushing to do his best anyway. But Teen Gohan, just because it was really cool to see him go from being like a very shy, introverted kid to like being the one that took down Cell and doing it with so much power and swagger. So I kind of relate to that just because, like, you know, growing up, that's kind of like, that's how I was, like very like shy, quiet, introverted, like pretty smart, but didn't like to really speak my mind a lot, things like that. So yeah, Teen Gohan specifically, like, because after that, when he got older, yeah, but anyway, go on. Next question, you still down with pump chasers? I'll, as I always, if there's a video that answers the question, I'll leave a link in the description down below next to it. I'm still on good terms with all of them, good terms with Chris, like there's no negativity, no animosity. I simply left the group because over time I found that based upon what I'm trying to do and kind of what I'm about content-wise, things like that, it just wasn't the best fit for me. But yeah, I left back in like December, so I'll leave the video link to that video explaining my reasons, everything like that, like next to the question in the description down below, or the comments, wherever I put the timestamp questions. Next question, as a powerlifter, do you believe while prepping for a meet, you should be focusing on hitting previous PRs at a lower RPE and more reps to dictate your progress going into the meet, and hitting new PRs on game day, specifically your last attempt, or should you hit those new PRs before the meet to know you progressed, or does it vary to the individual lifter, or does it even matter? So, good question. Basically comes down to the whole like, oh, do you know you have it if you've never touched it in training? I'm a big believer in just following the protocols of your programming, whether it's based off RPE percentages or whatever. Assuming your programming is adequate, you're going to start hitting PRs anyway, whether it's, oh, you hit a certain amount of weight at a lower RPE, or you hit a certain amount of weight for more reps, or you may even hit like weight that you've never touched before. But so long as you're being true to the programming, and so long as that weight you're hitting was true to like whatever you were supposed to hit as far as your RPE or your percentage base, or if you were supposed to go in and hit that, then you're good. I think the mindset though of purposely trying to go in just for the sake of hitting a PR, just so you can know you have it, I think that's flawed, because there's no need to do that. If you just so happen to hit a PR because that's what the program called for that day, then great. But at the end of the day, the whole point of training and prep is to prepare yourself to kill it on meet day. There's no need to feel like you gotta hit the PRs in the gym to make sure you can hit on meet day, because if your programming is adequate, you're gonna have an idea of what you can hit on meet day based upon what you've done in training and during the peaking phase. So it's kind of like a yes and no question. Yes, I think it's really more of a no. No, your goal should necessarily be to go in and hit PRs. Your goal should be to follow the protocols of your programming. But if the protocols of your programming are set up correctly, you will hit PRs anyway. So yeah, that's the answer. That's my answer to that question. Next question, I've been pulling sumo for 5 weeks, twice a week, 8 sets total, no more than RPE 7. I find now that just standing in my sumo width and squeezing my glutes through causes hip pain. Does this mean I'm not built for sumo, or I can't handle much sumo volume, or something else? That's a good question, man. Unfortunately, to be able to really help you, I'd have to actually like be able to see your form, see everything you're doing, kind of get a background check on you and what all you've been doing as far as deadlifts. But I can give you a few possible scenarios. One, if you haven't been pulling sumo that long, your muscles may not be used to being fired off and activating the way that they are, so you might just feel like sore from having to be in that positioning, which happens with almost any movement, right? If you change your movement pattern, if you're doing a movement you've never done before, you might feel like stiffness and soreness because you're not used to it yet. Two, it could just be your form. Your form may be off. You may be doing more of like just a wide leg conventional instead of a true sumo deadlift. Or it is possible that you're not built for it, but I wouldn't so much lean towards that. Once again, I can't know for sure unless I like look at you and kind of like see you pull. As far as the volume, I definitely feel like that's not the issue. That's not a whole lot of volume that you're doing right now. If anything, I think it's going to be more one of those first two where you're just having to get used to the movement or having to work on form, but I really can't answer for certain because I don't know the specifics of everything that you're doing. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Next question, how does it feel to be replaced by me in Akuna Matata's life? So for those of you who don't know, Akuna Matata, that's my boy Derek. His Instagram name is Akuna Matata, and the one who asked this is his girlfriend Bianca, who I'll have her Instagram like on screen so you guys can go talk mess to her for me. But how does it feel to be replaced by her in his life? I mean, I'm be real with y'all, like before she came around, me and Derek like we was like, you know, we was bros, man. Like we trained together, we talked noise together, like we was close, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like no weird stuff going on like that, but you know, like, you know, that was the homie as a bro, and everything was good. We was happy, I was happy, and then she came out of nowhere, man, like a harlot, want to start taking up his time and stuff. But I mean, to be honest, bro, like I ain't really tripping over it. Like it's not that bad. It's like, how do I feel about it? It's like, I'll be right back. Nah, but on the real, like it's all good. I don't mind sharing my homie. He's happy, I'm happy, so I guess you can stick around, Bianca. Next question, can you gain muscle in your 30s? Absolutely, man. There's no reason you can't. If you're still training, still focusing on progressive overload, still staying on top of your nutrition, doing all the usual things everyone else has to do to put on muscle mass, then you can still put on muscle mass regardless of you being in your 30s or not. Especially if you just started training in your 30s, then you'll still be able to like build muscle mass, go through the beginner gains, everything like that. Next question. Do you still think full body training is the best way to maintain muscle mass during a cut since protein synthesis is elevated throughout the week, assuming the diet is on point? I think that any routine that's gonna allow you to focus on adequate frequency for the protein synthesis and total weekly volume is gonna be fine for maintaining muscle mass during a cut, assuming your nutrition is on point. Whether you're doing that with upper lower or a push-pull legs, or like a upper lower push pull legs or full body. The reason that I always kind of lean towards more like the full body approach, or rather like, you know, programming where you're focusing more on like specific movements more so than body part splits, is because those usually allow you to have the most frequency on a movement and like the most total weekly volume. So in my opinion, yes, I would still lean towards that, whether you want to call it full body or just focusing on like movements instead of like body part splits. And I'll have a link in the description down below next to the question going over like, you know, the difference between focusing on movement patterns versus like body part splits. So yeah. Next question, if you can never lift again, what endeavors would you take up? Specifically non-fitness related, since I'm sure your answer otherwise would be to coach and train others, since it's you who can't lift and not other people. Honestly, man, I would probably get involved in something to do with writing. I'm not sure what specifically, but like I love reading, I love writing. I did a lot of that like as a kid in high school, even in college, and I still do some of it now, not quite as much just because I'm busier, but I think something related to writing would kind of probably be more of like my hobby. As far as a career, I don't know, I might probably something to do with like, honestly, like science or math, maybe go back into engineering, which is what I was doing before I got involved in kinesiology, just because, you know, I need something that's gonna put bread on the table, and writing may not do that, but I would still do that like as a side gig, unless I just got into something where I was able to like write and make good money off of it as well. Next question, what's your favorite cheat meal after training? I don't really have one, just because I love a variety of different foods, and I don't really do like cheat meals, like just in the sense of like, okay, if I'm fitting what I'm eating within my calories and my macros, it's not really a cheat meal. And if I'm not tracking, then I'll have like a period of time where I'm just not tracking, so all my meals are cheat meals in that case, if I go by, you know, that standard. So I don't really have a favorite cheat meal, but like cheesecake, that's like my favorite dessert, so I can say that no matter what, whether it fits or not, if I'm feeling it, I'm gonna get that cheesecake. Next question, what will be the best approach to increase one's chin-ups or pull-ups to say 10 to 12 reps if they can only just do 4 to 6 reps? I'm going to link in the description down below 2 videos. One is my first video over like the full breakdown of the chin-up and the pull-up, separating facts from the myths, kind of explaining how you can get better at it. And the second one is one that my coach Brennan and I did together, where we talked about how you can really work on developing your pull-ups and then eventually even get it to weighted, and it's gonna help answer you. But basically, man, the answer is gonna be like frequency and volume, like doing pull-ups on a daily basis and just gradually trying to do more reps every time each week. Frequency is gonna be huge when it comes to calisthenic movements. And because of the recovery, the fact that like it's not as taxing as like weighted movements, if you're just doing body weight, you can literally do pull-ups like essentially every day. If you want to take like 1 or 2 days of the week off, that's fine, but just high frequency, high volume, like doing like just 5 sets of as many reps as you can on a daily basis and just building it up, that's what's gonna allow your body to adapt quickly to that stimulus and increase your reps as far as going from like 5 to 6 to like 10 to 12 reps. Next question, I've been feeling extreme muscle tightness in areas of my back, lower back, lats, etc. Been foam rolling a lot more and stretching before and after lifting. What other things do you recommend for this issue? Been thinking of doing yoga, what's your take? So a lot of it's gonna depend on like what's causing it. So that's the biggest thing. It's kind of a loaded question because kind of like, hey, what else do you recommend? Well, I could throw like 10 different things at you to do, but some of those things may help, some of those things may make it worse, but it won't help you if when I give you 5 different things to do, but you're not sure which one actually helped you, then that's not gonna help you in the long run in the future. Or if I give you 5 other things and they make it worse, and that's bad. So the main thing I'm gonna recommend to you, dude, is to first and foremost figure out what the cause is, what's actually causing the pain. When do you feel the tightness? When do you feel the source of the pain? So when you're doing direct back movements, is when you're deadlifting, when you're squatting, etc. Like figure out specifically what's going on with that. I think you actually said, did you say if it was after deadlifting? Let me see, you said, Now you just talked about like this fact that your lower back, your lats, etc. Yeah, I would try to figure out like when you're feeling it and where specific, like where you feel the most tension, and kind of go from there. Foam rolling definitely helps. Doing mobility work beforehand is going to be huge. Not just like static stretching, but actual like, you know, mobility work, whether you're having to do like band work, etc. But the main thing is kind of figuring out what's causing it, and then you can kind of address the issue from there. Otherwise, it's kind of a loaded question. I can't really help you that much, so I'm sorry. And last question, this one actually comes from my coach, and he says, what's your end vision with everything related to your career / fitness? What do you see as your main goals, and what do you envision your ultimate success to look like? I'm asking this because I know it'll help paint an image that differs from the mainstream norm, and hopefully it'll help us see there's more than just vlogs to be taken in from YouTube. So good question, kind of a loaded question, but good question. Honestly, I've come to the realization in the past, really the past couple months, that I'm already doing everything that I want to be doing as far as like fitness in my career and stuff like that. As of, when was, I want to say it was April, like the end of April, I became fully like self-employed, as far as like I'm no longer training at TCU. Like for those of you who are also doing in-person training at TCU, I don't work for anyone else other than myself. I work with like, you know, my own online clients, any in-person clients that I choose to take on, and then I do coaching with the UNT powerlifting team, all on my standards based off what I want to do, etc. So I'm already very happy with that. I'm at a point where I'm constantly working with anywhere between like, you know, 20 to 30 clients at a time. I never really want less than 20. I never really want more than 30, because that's the load I can take on and adequately give everybody what they need as far as like quality and stuff like that. So as far as my career, I'm where I want to be. It's more so just continuing to grow in it, learning more, getting better at it, so I can take on, you know, more varieties of clients and stuff like that, and keep getting better. I like the fact that I have certain like long-term clients, especially like powerlifters who want to keep progressing, getting better, because it's always something to work towards. But I also like, you know, working with new people that like to like shift in and out every now and then, and like having different like challenges and struggles that they have, and finding ways to work around it. That's going to make me just a better coach, and then like just lifter and athlete as a whole. As far as YouTube, once again, I'm doing what I enjoy with it already. Like I wouldn't really change anything about how I'm going about doing things. Like, yeah, I'm always looking for ways to improve upon what I'm already doing, but the reality is, in like a year and a half of doing this, like reached 10,000 subs, which is awesome, but beyond the numbers, it's like, I think I have almost over 300 videos. I want my channel to get to a point where it's literally like, it's like seen as one of the channels that you go to when you're really trying to learn everything that you need to do. Whether you're a beginner who's trying to learn how to get started with how to like structure some basic how to like structure some basic linear progression programming, and how to eat correctly for your goals, whether it's losing weight, body recomposition, gaining weight, or whether you're a more advanced lifter where you're trying to get involved in something highly competitive. I want to just expand my knowledge and keep putting it out here so that it's helping you guys, helping those who watch it. The only thing I can really want to change is I want to keep getting better and learning more, and I want my channel to get more exposure and viewage. Obviously, I want the subs to keep increasing. I want my channel to get more views, but not for the sake of like clout or like, oh, getting more money or anything like that. Because like I said, like I make my living and my money from like the online coaching and the training, etc. But for the sake of just knowing that it's reaching more people, that's genuinely helping more people. At the end of the day, I will always I would rather know that, hey, my subs are gonna stop right here, my viewer is gonna stay this way, but I'm genuinely helping those people who are subbed and viewing, than to know, hey, you're gonna reach 1 million people, but you're gonna change how you're doing everything as far as your content and your message. You're gonna change all that. And yeah, you're gonna get more exposure, but it's not gonna be generally what you're trying to do, if that makes sense. So for me, my end goal, I'm already there, in the sense of like, it's just to keep doing what I've been doing, and just to have it grow and expand more, to reach more people, to impact more people. Like, even though it's catchy, I mean it when I say I'm here to educate people on health, fitness, and social well-being. I'm already doing that. So I'm already doing what I want to be doing. It's just gradually hoping that my content continues to reach more people. That's why I appreciate you guys so much when you take the time to like, comment, you know, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, because it helps the channel to grow and helps more people to be reached by it. So that's kind of like what I want with YouTube. The one thing I can say is like, you know, I want to do more collabs and like, you know, get involved with more people, but it's like, I'm just at a point where I'm trying to really like continue what I said I was gonna do, like in my very first video, like fight against the misinformation and just the oversaturation of BS in this industry. I wanna push against it. I wanna be a source that people can go to when they're tired, when they eventually, like I think they will, I think people eventually will get tired of all the typical, like, okay, this vlog is entertaining, but I'm not getting anything from it. Not that I'm dissing vlogging, but the vlogs where it's pretty just about the person's life, has something to do with actually benefiting or helping anybody, or when you get tired of seeing the eating challenges, or when you just get tired of the misinformation, people trying to sell you stuff, you just want some good, genuine, quality information. I want my channel to be there when people are ready to get to that point. So yeah, that's pretty much what my end goal is for like YouTube. And as far as like my career, like just continue doing what I'm doing and just keep getting better at it. I love seeing myself progress, but I get just as excited, if not more so, with seeing like my clients progressing their goals, whether it's powerlifting or weight loss or body composition, whatever it may be. But yeah, that's pretty much my answer to that. And that was the last question. That is it for this video. And it is, I think, about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit over it. We'll see after I edit it. But the point is, this Q&A is done. So to all of you who like, you sent me your questions in direct messages, I'm sorry. Hopefully you learned to follow directions. But that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you're not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.